Sorry about that. I had a little audio issue. So welcome to our post-May Day celebration of Workers of the World. This is People's Voice Cafe's monthly live stream. It's our effort to keep the music going while we can't meet in person. Hopefully that qualification may end one of these days soon. We have a special tonight. Fred Arcoleo is a longtime performer and singer, and he has organized the whole show for tonight and will be taking over as MC. Pat Lamanna calls Fred Don McLean meets Phil Ochs. His rally folk music addresses the difficult truths of our times with tenderness, optimism, and determination. Informed by his 34 years as an urban high school teacher and a lifetime of political organizing.
Yes.
His latest CD, Today Again, reached number 7 on the national folk charts. His CDs are available by contacting the artist and are also on all streaming outlets, and all the information for contacting Fred is on the People's Voice Cafe website. So please welcome Fred and his guests.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Good evening to you. Happy post-May Day. We have a beautiful show planned for you tonight in tribute to the workers of the world. And I'd like to introduce my performers. We're working together as a trio here tonight. And we have planned something very special for you. This is both dear friends of mine. This is Shanika Anderson, and this is Robert Gibbons. And you'll be hearing more about them as the show goes on, but I hope you will really enjoy this show. We're gonna kind of create a little atmosphere and program for you. And I promised my wife I would talk less, so I'm gonna try to do that. We're doing a little hybrid tonight though, and I would like to mention that we are broadcasting live from the Word Up Bookstore in Washington Heights on 165th in Amsterdam. So I want to give them a shout out from the beginning for letting us come here, and it's really a neighborhood institution. You'll hear more about them later. And I want to thank Brent, Lev, and Stephen, Marilyn, Suff, and everybody at the People's Voice for having us tonight. Thank you very much. And we're going to start off by paying tribute to all the workers that kept things going throughout this last year. And it's been a really rough time, and we're hopefully coming out of it, but I think the lessons are going to stay with us for a long time. It's called Lead the Way, Save the Day. Workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Lead the way. Save the day. On the farms, in the factories, in the laundries, in the pharmacies, the housekeepers and the home health aides, the warehouses, truck drivers every day, the social workers and the EMTs, transit, internet, utilities, bodegas, markets, and food stands, people on the front lines, everyone who can. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Lead the way. They save the day. Black, brown, tan, women and man, young and old, everyone who can, we're invincible. When we unite to defend our families, gonna have to fight. Healthcare workers lead the way. respects each other. Wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, be disciplined in our simple task. Look to the future, learn from the past as the bosses blame their crisis on us. Get ready to rumble, we're gonna have to rise up because it's our turn and it's our world. We have so many lessons to learn. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. Healthcare workers lead the way. Workers always save the day. They lead the way. They save the day. All right. Oh man, it's so nice to be with you here tonight. We're very excited, and the things you're going to see tonight are all new arrangements. We put this show together as a fresh theme, and it's thanks to People's Voice who they must have been thinking of something when they said, "Fred, would you mind doing a show about called Internationalism, War, and Peace? You think you could do anything with that?" I was like, "Are you kidding?" That's what I do every day. Right. So it's really beautiful. And, I shared with Shanika and Robert, the first people that came to mind as people that would understand. And it's the kind of work that they do themselves every day. So this is a song, actually, we'd like to start with introduce now Robert Gibbons to you. And, I've known Robert for quite a while now, definitely over 10 years, probably about 12 or 13 years. When he first moved to the city, he really made a powerful first impression. He moved from Florida, and he is a real compelling spoken word artist who works in the blues, I say blues gospel tradition, but he pulls from history. And he's been working on his poetry and in kind of the vein of Langston Hughes. He likes to think of himself, and I think it's been proven that likes to think of himself as an heir to Langston Hughes and that tradition. And he has now 3 books out, and we're going to hear about them in a little while, but I would like to introduce him to do his first work of the evening. This is Robert Gibbons.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I want to die easy when I die. I want to die easy when I die. I want to die. My hope for liberty for George Floyd. We share that same heritage, that same calling, that same pressing, my hope for liberty. Not like Nat Turner or Denmark Vesey, who was found to be testy, or Gabriel Prosser, who people call hostile, but the black bard of the South, and fame spreads by word of mouth, but we are still divided like Christiansburg and Blacksburg, and there are marks on the tree. Could it be for me? There is still a schism as long as the Mississippi River, the Protestants, the Catholics, the conservatives, the radicals share the hope for liberty. From Iran to Yemeni, from Bahrain to Egypt to the storefront church of the black preacher, we eat strange fruit of the master, neither eternal or everlasting. After the healing, there is one more wound that could not mend. Like Teutonics, it cannot be blended or pinned or plated or sutured or stitched. There's one more wound in my niche. I want to die easy when I die.
Robert Gibbons, everybody. There's more to come there. So you heard that we're really trying to pay tribute to the workers all around the world, and there's so many things going on. These truly are dark times. A lot of us in the U.S. have been lamenting the last 4 years, and the truth is, if you look around the world, it's just everywhere. It's a rampant disease, and so this next song is inspired by a poet who knew that. His name was Bertolt Brecht. He was a German poet, anti-fascist poet, and he had a poem, untitled poem, and it inspired this song. It's called Dark Times. Why did we arrive at these times we're in? What did we do to deserve this? Our collective nightmare, our deepest fears. Do we dare to scratch the surface in the dark times? There will be singing in the dark times. There will be singing about the dark times, about the dark times. Our infinite patience, the wisdom of the ancients, the insistence of our youth. We call on the forces of all our resources for the courage to face the truth in the dark times. There will be singing in the dark times. There will be singing about the dark times, about the dark times. We'll crawl and claw our way, and though it's dark today, we will have our say. We'll build our endurance against false reassurance. Our strength is internal, and struggle eternal. We who yearn for the light must now conjure that burning. In the dark times, in the dark times, Thank you. So now I get the pleasure to introduce my dear friend Shanika Anderson. And I've known Shanika for quite a while now too. I'm just so thrilled that we're able to sing together. She's got an incredible voice that you're going to hear in a moment. And, you know, I asked her, like, how did you learn to sing like that? Because everywhere she goes and she sings, suddenly everyone is demanding more of Shanika's singing. And she told me that she grew up singing in the church and studied singing. And she started in her 20s to start like becoming more politically conscious. And so it's not just a pretty voice, it is a power that is connected to the content of the things that she sings about, which is again connected to this tremendous history that we have to learn from. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you with much excitement Shanika Anderson.
Okay, this song was written after the murders of Chantel Davis and Kimani Gray. Just a series of deaths that occurred at the hands of police. Police brutality in our city and across the country. And so this song is a tribute to those whose lives were stolen. There are just too many names. Been gunned down senselessly. Modern day lynching in the city streets. The victims of violence are so often the poor. They're either killed in their own neighborhoods or die in rich men's wars. Racist police murders are labeled as mistakes. So many innocent lives they take. Hayana Kimani Chantel Sean Bell Reynaldo Ramarley Diallo Noel. More names than I can tell.
Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Dante Wright, Adam Toledo, Ma'Khia Bryant, Isaiah Ford, Laquan McDonald, Tyron West, Eric Garner, Cayenne Livingston.
The only way to end it is to stand up and fight. It can't be done alone. The workers must unite. Let's take it to the streets. Take it to the world. Stand up, young and old. Let's do it for Ayana Kimani Chantel Sean Bell Reynaldo Ramarley Diallo Noel. More names than I can tell.
Mike Brown, Saeed Vassell, Sandra Bland, Stephen Clark, Tamir Rice, Freddie Gray, Alton Sterling, Walter Scott,
and
Keith
let
Scott.
them kill us all. No, we've gotta fight to for honor. Kimani, Chantal, Chanel, Reynaldo, Ramarley, Diallo, Noel, mornings and nights.
Laquan McDonald, Makai Gurley, Kevin Sidelcio, Kiku Garcia, Abner Luima, Corin Gaines, Philando Castile, Deshaun Shepard, Mohad Bey, Kenneth Chamberlain, Kenneth Belbach, Anthony Baez, William Simon, Samuel DuBois, Walter Scott, Kristen Taylor, Yvette Smith, Rakia Floyd. There are so many names. This poem is for Sean Bell. 50 stars, 50 stripes, 50 years of leads and pipes, 50 shots, 50 bullets, 50 cents, 50 hoodies, 50 times, 50 pleas, 50 boys smoking weed, 50 cries, 50 punches, 50 cars holding blunts, 50 churches, 50 blocks, 50 heads dreaded by locks. There are 50 graves, 50 states, 50 minds, just can't wait. There's 50 dimes, 50 checks, 50 children having sex. There's 50 mamas, 50 daddies, 50 streets up Manhattan. There's 50 shots, 50 bullets, 50 tenements still in squalid.
Well, probably everybody watching this already knows this, maybe, but just this little few songs, you could just see how upside down this world is, right? So it's my newest song called Upside Down. People cheer when the rover lands on Mars like it was heaven sent. It looks so near, but it's so far. Me down here with a year of unpaid rent, trying to figure out how it got this way. Everything's out of place. That damn machine lands on its own 2 feet while I'm lost in space. It's upside down. So they've cleared the latest election. Now the gangs are settling scores. Just beware of false protection. They're gearing up for the next war. Half the countryside self-righteously, the other half grinds its teeth. I'm left worried that all my friends still don't have enough to eat. It's upside down. Something to cheer about that's not millions of miles away. I've been working all my life. It's about time I have my say. upside down. It's upside down. Billionaires' fortunes gone viral. Their stock market's on a stampede. They don't care if we're in a downward spiral, long as their profits guaranteed. The rich boys taking all the credit. Well, one thing I know for sure, this whole system's a real pandemic, and we got to find the cure, 'cause it's upside down. Oh, it's upside down. It's upside down. So tired, like I'm just singing to myself. But I know we're running out of time. We got to get ourselves out of this hell. It's getting a little overcome now. That song, it's only about a month and a half old, so it's pretty fresh. But I'm very grateful, you know. I've kind of been living my own pandemic before the pandemic. I've had a rough year and a half, and it's been a real saving grace to be able to have some songs that can express some of the feelings I have. And this actually is the first song that I wrote during the pandemic. And it was kind of funny. I kind of got scared straight in a way, because I started writing this song in 2017, right after that whole fascist rally in Charleston, which, you know, is a premonition to what happened at the Capitol in January. And it really, you know, like a lot of my songs, I'm preoccupied with my teaching and I don't get to them. And as soon as the pandemic hit, I just was like, I got to finish that song. So I'm glad that I was able to do that. And I thank all my friends that listen to my songs while they're in process, my summer songs, family, and a lot of other friends, including Shanika and her husband Snefru, who is, I consider one of my former students. It's a pretty special relationships, and I'm really grateful that I have a chance to practice expressing these emotions that will tear you apart if you're not careful. Yeah, so this is called All That It Takes. From hides and lies, the advertisements traumatize, they disguise the prize that's right before our eyes. A cloak of smoke envelops our homes, a kaleidoscope of broken bones. It chokes our hopes and throats revolt, so we're told. All that it takes for evil to win is for good people to do nothing. All that it takes for evil to win is for good people to do nothing. The fascist freaks have tossed their sheets, they flood the streets armed to the teeth. Whatever made you think this would be easy? Stand for the flag or you'll be damned, and pander to the master's plan. Loyalty's what they demand, our fealty. All that it takes for evil to win is for good people to do nothing. rises, we've despised. The time is nigh, goodbye denial and pride. Those of us who are good people within can choose to renew evil to nothing. Those of us who are good people within can choose to renew evil to nothing. We can renew evil to nothing. 'Cause I refuse to believe we are nothing. Thank you all. Oh, you got one more. Hey, all right. Yeah, I was about to introduce Robert again. All right, well, this is quite appropriate to follow that one. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. I think a song is going to say what we need it to say. Carolyn's whispering. My wife's on the side and she's going, just sing, just sing. Oh, no, you know, I'm very talkative, anyone who knows me. Something's got to be said, though. I can sense the poison swirling up into my sinuses. It's burning my lungs in my throat. My heart pumps poison into and through my bloodstream. It's seeping into muscle and bone. We're dumping poison in the lakes and in the ocean. Poison runs in the rivers and the streams.
They've poisoned the air, they've poisoned in the ground.
They've poisoned our hopes and our dreams. They have poisoned.
They're feeding obesity with TV. They're starving anorexics with magazines. In everything we eat, they've added poison. And the deadliest poison tastes so sweet.
The textbooks in the schools are reeking poison. Poison pours out of every car's exhaust. They calculate the profit to the last penny, but they never admit the cost of all their poison. There aren't any magic potions, no pills that we can take or miracle vaccines, 'cause everything's for sale and costs a fortune, and the cures are always worse than the disease. It's a poison. It's a poison. We're eating poison.
Drinking poison.
Drinking poison.
Drinking poison.
Eating poison.
Drinking poison.
Smoking poison.
Drinking poison.
It's poison. It's poison. It's poison. It's poison. It's poison. It's poison. It's
poison.
We're slowly wasting away, but we keep growing as we decay toward our final harvest time. We're swelling with pain, but one day before they know it, the dead are going to rise. We'll be their poison. to read.
So hot to the touch that it's a crime.
It's the naked truth.
Defiant and uncouth.
There's poison in every lie. We are poison. We are poison. Give them their medicine. And when we begin again, we'll ban poison.
We'll ban poison. Woohoo.
Robert Gibbons, Shanika Anderson.
Wow. Fred and Shanika, wow. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. In spite of this justice, we must hold to the promise of emancipation. We must still fall and tumble into this recreation. This is our vision, like scissors cutting through Mason-Dixon. Must snap this bow of Jim Crow, must create a new vocabulary. Must triage this reliquary, must open those closed gates of justice. Must Thurgood Marshall the roughnecks, must take back control, must make our italics bold, must never weary, must never fear them, and when I get scared, must write it down, must make the lightning sound.
The name of this song is Red Roses. The rich keep taking billions, the poor can't break the ceiling, trying to move up from the bottom. Banks pluck us from our homes when we can't pay back the loans. The bosses say, well, that's your problem. We're like roses trampled on the ground, but we will not be silent now. Workers unite and fight, it won't be long. 'Cause even roses have thorns. These terrorize our children. The system fails and jails them, leads them to the streets. Schools built like institutions offer no real solutions to meet their needs. Oh, it's nice to see a rose grow from concrete, but we will build a world where we all have what we need. Workers unite and fight, it won't be long. 'Cause even roses have thorns. Let's ease up justice to grow fields of bread. Uproot the rulers, fill them with dread. Red roses will cover even roses have thorns. It's nice, it's nice, it's nice to see a rose grow from honey. But we will build a world where we all have what we need. Workers unite and fight, we won't be long. 'Cause even roses have thorns. 'Cause even roses have thorns. 'Cause even roses have thorns.
Well, maybe now's a good time to talk about our sponsors. I remember when I was a kid, they say, and now a word from our sponsors. But the good part about these sponsors is no one's making any money off anybody. Salute. So I have two groups that I want to bring up here, and one is the People's Voice Cafe, and the other is Word Up Bookstore. Just to tell you a little bit about them and to let you know that 10% of tonight's proceeds are going to People's Voice Cafe, and that's because they are doing all of this to support artists. And it's pretty fantastic and admirable that it's a People's Voice, for those of you who don't know, began in 1979 as a collaborative project with people that were creating an organization called People's Freedom Songs of Struggle. And it was a kind of a Pete Seeger, Charlie King collaboration that ended up creating the People's Music Network and then People's Voice Cafe in 1979. And they have been supporting grassroots folk artists, world music, jazz, a lot of different genres for all that time. And they've had weekly shows. They have a subscriber list, and you can join People's Voice Cafe. If you go to their Facebook page, go to their website, peoplesvoicecafe.org, and you can find out more about their history and all the people that have played, which is like luminaries, people like Odetta, amazing people, David Amram. And I'm just really, I didn't know before they invited me how generous they were by just taking this small 10% and giving the rest to the artists. And so when they first invited me, I just thought, I was singing from my living room. We've all been doing that for a year. But I just thought, it would be much more powerful to be able to connect to a neighborhood organization. And I had just told the founder of Word Up, the director, Veronica Liu, just a few days before I got the invitation that I wanted to do something with Word Up this spring. And lo and behold, this email comes. So I immediately contacted her and asked if we could live stream from Word Up. And of course, she talked to the board of directors and they all agreed. And this, I believe, is the first actual event. It's been closed for a year, and they've been doing, I tell you, they're so busy between online sales, which you can go to Word Up online, wordupbooks.com, and you can see all the things they have offered, but they're doing events every day. I think there's like 3 events today, doing a lot of virtual things. So the bookstore itself has been closed, even though they have a People's Fridge outside. They got books everywhere, and they're always doing things in the neighborhood. They're like the heartbeat of this neighborhood right now on 165th in Amsterdam in Washington Heights. So I decided that I told them I would give them a minimum of $100 just to allow us to use the space. But I told them also that I'd like to give more. So I'm asking you, those of you who registered for the webinar, thank you very much for giving a donation. People's Voice Cafe, because they're so great, have a policy they don't turn anyone away, and that's why they have the Facebook Live. So I'm really glad a lot of my friends who couldn't make that kind of donation can still watch the show. But I'd like to ask you, I think that Brent and Lev will put something in the chat. Is that correct, Brent, that you can put something in the chat to give some tips? And please feel free to give tips, and any tip you give, we're going to split it and give Word Up a share of a third so that we can keep this place going. It really is. They do have a staff now because they've been so powerhouse. They do have a small, modest staff, but most of it is volunteers, like 60 people that coordinate this. And I would like to bring up right now one of these volunteers that opened the place up for us and is staying with us this whole evening, And his name is Robbie Kim. And if you please welcome him, and he has a few words he'd like to say about Word Up. Robbie, come on up, man.
Hi. Yeah, I'm a volunteer here at Word Up, and we're a multilingual community bookstore here in Washington Heights. We're on Amsterdam at the corner of 165th. A little about our history. We started as a pop-up in 2011, and then a year later we had a successful fundraiser where we raised about $70,000, and we moved here to this current location in 2013. But we're mostly been a collective of like neighborhood residents where we just run on volunteer, and we're just like work together and just work whenever we can with just different events. And so we're largely a volunteer run organization, and we've been closed this year, so we've been trying to do our story times online. We do after school sessions for the community kids online. We do a lot of different programs, but we're hoping to open back up so we can have like concerts again. We can have author events, readings, just community meetings, art exhibitions, everything here. And so it's really good just to be back in the store, just having an event, because it's been like so long. And so any support that we can have, much appreciated. And like Fred said, go to wordupbooks.com and you can order from us and online.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, man. I've been it's 2012. I just mentioned one last thing about these guys. I talk all night, but I told I'd talk less. But this is important, is that talking about these sponsoring groups without which we would not have art. And so they, the Word Up actually started in 2012 as a pop-up bookstore on 176 and Broadway, and it was supposed to last for a month. It's like, and look at us, 9 years later. So, so we are ready to do our next piece. And this one's this one's dear to my heart. It was inspired by the question of a 5-year-old boy, appropriately named John Silver, who asked me, this really is his name. He asked me, "Do you know any pirate songs?" So I didn't yet, but now I have this one. So I do want to say something about this, because I wrote it as a children's song, but I was in the middle of the children writing it, and I go, I can't just write a dumb children's song. I have to write something that comes from here. So I think it actually appeals to children of all ages. And I do want to say that, in this society, we're talking about workers of the world tonight. In this society, workers are treated like things, like commodities. And I came to find out when I did some research about pirates, after I wrote the song, by the way, but I did come to find out that historically, many pirates in Europe and in the Atlantic in the 1700s were sailors that had not been paid. And that's what, they would go a year on the water and not be paid. And so you could just imagine the kind of torture that people have endured and do endure every day. So this goes out to all the workers who often we feel like renegades in our own world, doesn't it? Aren't ye scared? A patchwork me eye and a thick black beard. Flawless etiquette, articulate speech, a cheap disguise for a blood-sucking lead. I haven't bathed in a year and a day. No fresh water, just lemonade. I search all my life, but I never get paid. But I won't submit to fading away. My arch enemy wears a 3-piece suit, diamond cufflinks and chic perfume. Flawless etiquette, articulate speech, a cheap disguise for a blood-sucking lead. He never utters a discouraging word. Why should he? He rules the world, hires suckers like me to do his dirty work. What does he take me for a jerk? Ships on the ocean, longing for home. Road burning ocean, got me sinking deeper in the hole. Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Wait a minute now. Get off of me! Ow! Get off me! Get away, I said! No! Ooh, splash salt water on my sunburned face. Sober me up so I can clear my name. They can't sail their ship. They ain't got. What will they do? We refuse. No more profit off our wetbacks. No more slaves to the treasure mass. Spending days with me one-eyed scan, looking ahead for the land. Ships on the ocean, moaning for home. Mutinous notion, but we just can't go. I am a pirate in disguise, dressed in tatters but gold inside. If you see the inner particles of parasites in suits, maybe you're a pirate. Gonna hear from Robert Gibbons again.
At risk. It's just another alphabet on the block. It's one of those pejoratives or expletives we clump together into the political. It's a fingerprint, so I remain at risk. I can't pay my rent. I live paycheck to paycheck. It's a track and a label. It's a system and an institution. It's an asylum in my head when they call me a deadbeat dad. I know food stamps. I know WIC. I know ADD. I know ADHD. I know HRA. I know ACS. I know immigration and deportation. I know immunization and vaccination. It's just another alphabet on the block.
Yeah, it's pretty hot in here, in a good way. So I just realized that this next song is also a children's song. It's kind of cute. I love kids. And by the way, I'll mention, my friend Shanika here has got a little guy staying at our place while we're doing the show tonight with his dad, and his name is Sage. And I want to dedicate this song to him.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling he's sleeping right now. Hopefully not crying when mommy's not there. But give me a second here just to get it together. But I always say that, I've been a teacher since 1987. I have taught adults, and I've taught, I was a summer camp counselor before that. So that also was pretty special. And I don't know, it's pretty easy for me, I think. I think I might have a second career after I retire from the adolescents who I dearly love. But maybe we'll actually set up we had a cross-generational tutoring program at my school for quite a few years that I helped set up, which was just so fantastic. Like the most troublesome ninth graders were so sweet with the little kids. We did kindergarten and first grade. It was really special. So, so this song, I was watching some kids play in the playground at one of my favorite places, Summer Songs at Stony Point Center. Some of you out there I think may know. And I want to apologize. I'm not able to see the chat. I'm going to have to go back later and see everything. But I'm so grateful to you guys for being here. And I want to dedicate this song to Sage and to all the kids out there. It's called Go. Let's see here. Oh, wait. You know what? I'm going to try to do this. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm trying to gotta keep myself calm. I have to write my set list down because otherwise I'll just like fly off into outer space. Okay, here we go. You can sing along too. It's really easy. We go, go, go. We run, run, run. We laugh, laugh, laugh. It's fun, fun, fun. Peals of wild joy fly through the air. Long as we're alive, we are here.
We laugh, laugh, laugh.
We scream.
It's life, life, life.
It's a dream. Death-defying acrobatic cheer. Calling out, delighted we are here. In the air, there is singing. Can you hear? As long as we're alive, we go, go, go. We run, run, run. We laugh, laugh, laugh. It's fun, fun, fun. Peals of wild joy fly through the air. As long as we're alive. As long as we're alive. As long as we're alive, we are here. We are here. We are here. Can you hear as we go, go, go? We go, go, go. Go, go, go. We go, go, go. I love that. So, I don't know. I just got to say, I'm not going to talk too much, but I do have to say, like, kids and adults, you probably know this, those of you who are getting on in age, you're just still you. Like, none of this old and young. Yeah, our bodies are falling apart and we're going to soon we'll be dust, but that's another story. The fun part is we still get to have all our lives inside us. Don't lose that, and that's something important for the workers. We can't let this frickin' system beat us down, and that we have to keep that heart open, and that's why we need each other. So this next song, maybe it's appropriate here. Let me get my little harmonica. Let me just grab my harmonica somewhere here. Maybe it's appropriate that, I went through a period where life was beating me down. And, I took on too much. It's been my one of my problems in life. And I ended up with a headache one day. Never had a headache before. It's about 7 years ago, and I got it one day and it never went away. It's like, okay, message. But so I went through, I was really having a hard time, and this was the first song that I wrote after having the headache for, I don't know, like a year. And so this was a really important song to me to be able to write. It's called Today Again. And it has to It has to do with every day is a struggle, we know, but it's also an opportunity. So that's how I like to look at it. All right. This is the title song on my second CD, Today Again. It's today again. It's now. This is now, and we're writing our own happy ending. This is work. It's a play. that the audience, our children, will be studying tomorrow, and the latest news, the latest war, the latest black man killed by cops, the latest future leaders being born. Let's not avert our eyes, let's lose the disguise. Let's meet the obvious, the truth and the lies. And every beating minute we ignore or avoid leaves a hollow in the darkness, an echoing void. Let's find some courage, why don't we? Today, again, 'cause this show we bought our ticket for, it's always playing live. Today, again. So we say again, we're here, and our fear, it's just a tear away from disappearing. When we stand, we feel our lungs expand, and we remember what it feels like to be breathing. So when we turn ourselves to the wars, when we're standing face to face with them, understand them to their core, we see this is our moment, we collectively own it. We say to our opponents, we won't let you own us. All human exploitation, we declare our abhorrence and commit ourselves to change it. We want the path before us. Let's start a love affair with courage. Today, again, 'cause this show we bought our ticket for, it's always playing live. Today, again. Cause maybe it's a train that takes us nowhere, or maybe it's a mountain we must climb. But if we see a way, we must go there. It just might be a path that we find. Let's refuse to waste any more time. Today, again, was this show we bought our ticket for, it's always playing live. Today, again, was this show we bought our ticket for, it's always playing live. Today, again.
This poem and this song a little while after Aiyana Jones had been murdered, and at the same time there was a lot happening in Afghanistan. So the name of the poem is Snapshots, War's Children, from the Ghettos of Afghanistan to America. It's a drone sent in our name. They use our taxes to introduce pain into the lives of children. They say it's collateral, the civilians killed are minimal. I think it's criminal and outright cynical to think of innocent lives in this way. It's just a shame. Glass breaking, children playing. Danger lurks in the distance. Women dressed in black, another man down. Bombs dropped in random spots. One hits the house where children are playing. Danger lurking in the distance, ever on the prowl. Gunshots, children playing, an ice cream truck in the distance, women dressed in black, another man down. House raids, hand grenades, death's footsteps in the distance. A little girl is sleeping as the doors are torn down, and that jingly jangly tune now mimics the sound of funeral bells. That ubiquitous summer evening tune passing through the ghetto hells. Sadness has entered the dreams of all these children asleep tonight. Their innocence stripped away in this nightmarish plight. Brown eyes pierce the moon, silent prayers bespeak the gloom. Children fading in the distance. They say it's collateral, the damage done is minimal. I think it's criminal and outright cynical. They say it's collateral, the damage done is minimal. I think it's criminal and outright cynical. I think it's criminal. I think it's criminal. I think it's criminal. I think it's criminal. I think it's criminal.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shanika Anderson and Fred Arcoleo. My final poem, Washington. I came to you and stationed myself for 11 years, Washington. I came above Mason-Dixon, a pixie of South Carolina, a running vine, Washington. And what is a name but a slave relic, Washington? I'm gonna tell it when the sail of the enslaved drips from the end of Whitman's pen, Washington. Divided between Maryland and Virginia, I will render my verdict, and the earth belongs to the good, Washington. The ones that stood on the backs of potato sacks, the blue, the red, and the white built this nation. And before we go back, Washington, to a confederacy, we will take squatters' rights, Washington. Remember Harriet and Frederick left at night on the train. They ran towards the drinking gourd, towards Benjamin Banneker. He could read the sun. He could read the stars. He could read Ben Franklin's almanac. When night was like day and day was like night, Washington. Washington, I feel sorry for you. The ancestors have already warned you with your shackles of hate, with your labyrinth as bait. I see gold domes in Georgia marbles. I see peak Tennessee quarried by the free. Washington, you are in the middle between the north and the south. Listen, Washington, to the query of the free. It can't be. It can't be.
Everyone, excuse me for just saying that I knew this was going to be a great night, but I'm so excited I'm so moved emotionally by this, and I'm kind of like, got to make sure I'm planting on myself on the ground. This is just so amazing. I'm so grateful to be with these talented artists and singing about these themes. And I say singing because Robert Gibbons just sings his poems. Yes. They're so powerful. So I hope that we will be able to do this again. We have a couple more songs we'd like to do for you. And I was realizing when I was standing over to the side there, like, I wrote this song a few months ago, so it's a new one. And, those of you who know me as a teacher know that I really have burrowed myself into my work for many years and just really just devoted to the students and my school and my neighborhood. And I'm really so grateful for that because I don't have biological children, so these have been my children. And there are those who are saying now for teachers, oh, don't give too much, that you're burnt. There's a burnout problem, yes, but what they're talking about is like where teachers they're doing too much, like they're giving too much they have to keep some for themselves, which is true. But, I think the answer is not to work less. The answer is collectivity, where we rely on each other more and we build bonds of trust so we can do the work that must be done, because the society is only getting more and more vicious as this crisis that is this worldwide capitalist system is intensifying. And it's not going to get, you heard it in Upside Down maybe, but I really don't believe that an election or any of that is going to solve these deep contradictions of this society that we live in. So this song started out as a tribute to my coworkers at work, and it was a very personal song. And then these workers in the Bronx, in Hunts Point, went on strike. And I don't know if you all know this, but I'm from New York City, and most of you, a lot of you are. But I will tell you that Hunts Point, I learned, it's like 22 companies that occupy these huge warehouses in the boonies, supposedly the boonies of the Bronx. And they ship 50% of the fruits and vegetables for New York City. So like, talk about essential workers. And in the middle of the pandemic, these companies were, collaborating, conspiring to cut their health care in the middle of the pandemic and give them 20 cents raise. These workers were insulted and enraged, and good for them. And they went out on strike, and they forced the bosses to give a little bit more. And I just felt like, wow, we are so mighty. We don't know how mighty we are, because we often are just looking to these people that are supposedly leading, but we don't realize that they have different interests than us, and they're never going to have the same interests. So this is my tribute to the workers of the world, called The Mighty. And hopefully we can all get a little bit of a mojo from this song and these workers in Hunts Point who are just so brave. All right. Do you remember all our adventures over the years, over the centuries? And I mention it because now, in terms of survival, we need to rise from the dead again. We need a revival. We are the first and we are the last. We are the mighty working class. When you feel the most like hiding, I wish you'd take a look inside yourself and see You have a history. We have our ancestors who made sacrifices on altars of misery. So we can stand here today and feel this song and swing to this beat. Our music so sweet, sing along. We are the first and we are the last. We are the mighty working class. When you feel the most like hiding, I wish you'd know how good it feels to be fighting for what workers need. And we should have no illusions that the people in power will accept revolution. But that is what we need. And the world's on our shoulders. And in turn we are learning from the giants that came before us. We are the first and we are the last. We are the mighty working class. When you feel the most like hiding, I wish you'd know how much is riding on what we all do, what each of us do. We are mighty and we are fighting. We are the workers, we stand united, no more hiding. We're singing black, brown, and tan, woman, trans, and man, young and old, everyone who can. We're singing black, brown, and tan, woman, trans, and man, young and old, everyone who can. Woo-hoo! Well, let me see how we doing on time here. Do we have time? Oh, we've got 9:30, you guys. Well, this is perfect for us to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for being here, all of you, first of all. And I want to thank these amazing artists. I hope we'll get to do this again because they are really fantastic. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did standing next to them. And I want to thank Robbie Kim from Word Up Bookstore and Word Up for having us here. I want to thank my wife Carolyn. So, I'm sorry we didn't get to see who all was out there. But we're gonna go back and look. I did see a few people. I want to give a shout out to my Lake of Isles people, my Summer Songs people, my People's Music Network family, my George Washington campus family. Oh, it's such a sweet honor, and my family for being here. Thank you all, and we want to also thank People's Voice Cafe for just making this happen, for finding a way to keep the arts flowing during this pandemic. It's essential work. Culture is not a frill, and we need to embrace it as a way to help people understand the things that we need to do. Pete Seeger said that if only music would change the world, I'd only be a musician. So that means we have a lot of work to do when we're not playing music and doing our creative work. But that is also creative work. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Brent Kramer, and thank you all for being here.
Wow. Well, obviously, thanks so much to Fred Arcoleo, Shanika Anderson, and Robert Gibbons. That was a real special show. Let's put it that way. It was really amazing. And we thank our performers, which we just did, our publicity team, Ruthie and Doug, our production and booking team, and special thanks to Words Up. The People's Voice Cafe website will have a link to Words Up, but it's right here if you want to copy it down quickly. If you want to make a contribution there, or to us, any contribution we get tonight, 90% of it goes to the performers, and Fred will distribute it accordingly. Well, thanks again very much to Lev Pinsky, our producer, our engineer.
Brent, I don't know, can you guys still hear me? If I could just say that one last word to to you guys, to Brent Kramer, Lev Pinsky, Marilyn and Stephen Suffet, everyone at the People's Voice Cafe who invited us here and trusted us to put on a good show for the month of May. I hope we did you all justice, and we hope to see you again very soon. We are hoping for a live show next year. We can get everything back and running, and we'll bring our folks back and
We'd
even
love
more.
that too, sure.
Thank you all
you
very
again.
much once again.
And please come back in a month, 4 weeks actually, for the next live stream. We're going to have Joe Jenks and Rod McDonald, and our webpage will have all the details next week sometime. All right. Have a good night, everyone.